What's going on, guys? You're watching me, the Mighty Miguel. You are watching the Mighty Gaming channel. Before we get started today, I did see that there was some surprise news this morning, which was that State of Decay 2 is now on Steam. I don't know why. Well, I do know a few people that have actually asked for this. It's not actually released yet, but it is there for like add to your wish list. I guess they're not. I guess they're not taking pre-orders, but apparently it's on Steam now. Who knew? I mean, this is probably doesn't change a lot. However, it does give them the option to open up the modding community thing side for us. So, am I excited that the game's on Steam? Eh. Am I excited that they're going to let people mod the game? Good God, yes. Can you imagine if people mod the game, how cooler it's going to get? But, we'll wait and see what happens there. But, as of yesterday, State of Decay 2 is on Steam. But anyway, on to the video. Alright, so about 5 weeks ago, I made a video called State of Decay 3, Everything We Know and Can We Change It? Or How Can We Change It? And basically the point of that video was to try and influence the development of State of Decay 3 in some way, any way. Even the smallest detail would be amazing if we could change it as a community. So basically that video, I asked people, could you comment down below about what you would want in State of Decay 3? And my good God, did people comment. Where's the comments? Where are they? Oh, they're down here. It got 720 comments. Like, god dang. I actually went through every single one. Like, if there's a thumbs up from me, I read it and I added it to the list. Like, I've gone through every single comment on the video. And basically what I'm going to do today is I've compiled all those comments into a list. We're going to go through them. We're going to see what people want the least, what people don't want, what people want the most. And then when we're done, we're going to tweet these videos to the director of Undead Labs and to Undead Labs themselves and see if we can get some sort of response, or maybe even better, influence the development of State of Decay 3 somehow. This is going to probably run over a few videos because there's just so much to go through. Like, if you can imagine, it took me a while to read 700 and whatever comments. Like, some of them were like 1 or 2 lines. Some of them were like like a whole graphic novel or non-graphic novel. But anyway, stick with us. We're going to go through it all right now. Stay tuned, and here we go. Let's go through the list. But anyway, this is episode 1. We're going to be talking about the base and map changes, or things that we're going to try and influence the changes of in State of Decay 3. Basically, I've gone through all the comments. I've made them into a list of what people want the most compared to what they want the least, or what they don't want, and we're going to go through that from the least talked about to the most talked about stuff. So obviously the stuff at the end of the video will be like the things that people have asked for the most. Now, first of all, people have asked for the breakdown mode to be brought back. I didn't really play the breakdown mode, so I don't really know a heap about it, but as far as I'm aware, it was like a wave attack type mode or a difficulty level that sort of got harder as the further you got, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, everybody that I've heard talk about it didn't say anything bad about it, so maybe they could bring that back. But once again, I never really played it, so I can't really comment on it, so we're moving on. The next comment is traps. Bring back traps. So if you played State of Decay 1, you know that your bases had the ability to, I think it was Outposts as well. You could lay like landmine traps and stuff, and then if a zombie sort of wandered too close, the landmine traps would kill them for you, and your bases would sort of always be clear-ish of zombies. I know a lot of people like made all their outposts around their base and then put all the landmines out so that the zombies couldn't really get in, which wasn't a bad idea. If they bring that back, that's actually not a terrible idea. Alright, the next thing that 2 people asked for was the ability to clear road obstructions. Now, this actually isn't a terrible idea. Imagine if you've got a base and there's like a crashed truck right out the front of your base, and every time you leave you got to drive around it and it drives you nuts. Imagine you had the ability to like push it off the road out of the way. That would be so useful. They would have to try and make it like a one-time thing, like you could only push it from there to there. Because I can see if like you can push every obstruction in the game as far as you want. Everybody's just going to like, well, immediately my thought was to push them all around your base and have this like massive wall of destroyed vehicles around your base as like the base defenses. Like, no, nothing's going to get through that. Maybe a juggernaut, who knows. But that could be interesting if they add that. I actually wouldn't mind them if they added that. It would be cool to be able to clear road obstructions. So next up, 3 people asked for caves, subways, or underground levels. Which, once again, I'm actually very for this. Like, underground level seems very cool. There's so many, like, zombie movies that have, like, a subway part where, you know, they're down in the subway and there's tons of zombies living there and they got to get through. Or it's like a tunnel or a cave or something like that. They absolutely should add this. It would be cool. I don't know if it's actually possible, like, depending on how they build the game engine and that sort of stuff, but a cave slash underground slash subway level would be freaking awesome. Alright. We also had 3 people ask for multi-level building levels or skyscrapers. Once again, this is down to like the game engine. Will it be able to actually handle this sort of thing? But having like a multi-level office block to like mess around in. Like I know State of Decay 2 had like a ground floor and a second floor office block type building. But we're talking like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 stories up buildings. Imagine having your base on like the, I don't know, 30th story of a skyscraper building. That would be awesome. I'm absolutely agreeing with this. They should put it in the game. I highly doubt that they're going to do this. Like, for the amount of coding it would require, and like, I don't even know if it's possible with the engine that they're using, but I don't think it's going to happen. But it would be very cool if it did. But that would be quite awesome if they could add that in. But anyway, on to the next thing. 4 people asked for outposts to be more useful. So give us more options for outposts. At the moment, you only really got like power, water, airstrike, and some other bits and pieces. And apart from that, they just sort of give you food, give you ammo, give you whatever. They need to be like... They don't need to be, but if they could come up with more ideas... I mean, if I sat here for 5 minutes and came up with different ideas, I'm sure I could think of more interesting things than that. But once again, it's going to be how difficult it will be for them to implement, how much time and resources have they got to try and make those things. Who knows? I think they could do it, actually, if they just, you know, brainstormed for a day, picked the, like, easiest ideas to implement. I don't know, let's come up with an idea for them. What would I want as an outpost in the game, if I could add anything? What about, like, a gun shop that has, like, a gun press? So it doesn't just like give you ammo. You can actually go there and press ammo at like a discount because it's not like the shitty little press you got in your base. You've got like a full-on proper weapon grade, like a military grade weapons press, not just a homemade one at home. You know, and you get a massive discount for making ammo there instead of, you know, having it in your base. But it has to be an outpost or else it doesn't work. There you go. Boom. Idea. Make it happen, State of Decay. Undead Labs. We'll be tweeting this to you. Let us know what you think. Anyway, on to the next thing, which 5 people asked for this out of the 720 comments, I think it was. Shareable bases between players. So basically they want to be able to, as a community, say 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 friends, they all play State of Decay. They all want to play together, so they all have like one base that's theirs. They don't all have like separate individual bases that are in their own games. They all want to live in the same base. Which I actually think is a pretty good idea. I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard to implement. Surely not. Maybe like a little bit of databasing issues, maybe, between trying to link the 4 accounts and who has what and who put what where and who took what, but I still think it's doable, and it wouldn't be that hard to do either. But that's a cool idea. I'm actually up for that. Shareable bases. We'll have like the Mighty Mobsters base. We'll have like 200 of us living in there. Imagine that shit. That would be nuts. But anyway, on to the next thing. So 7 people asked for the ability to be able to wall off a whole area / taking over a whole town. Oh. I'm trying to, like, could it even be possible coding-wise? Like, depending on how they do the base building, I'm sure... I mean, I've seen it done in other games, where you can wall off as big an area as you want. So I can't see why it wouldn't be possible. The problem is, though, is that if you make a base that's too big, the game starts freaking out. A perfect example of this is Arma 3, where you can basically build whatever you want, wherever you want. And if you make, say... Well, I'll give you an example, right? You'll be flying a helicopter across the map, and you'll be at like 60 FPS, 60 FPS, 60 FPS, and then you'll come across somebody's, like, monster base that has like 500 different parts or something to it, and your FPS just goes to like 10 until it goes out of view, and then you're back to 60. This is the problem that they're going to have. Like, it's going to, if you can make a base that's big enough to envelop a whole town, it's going to put a massive stress on the Xbox, which is basically what the game's designed for, and your PC. So I think it's possible. I don't think it would be that hard for them to implement. Like, there's been tons of other games that have implemented this sort of thing, like Fallout or 7 Days, and it's just a matter of, can they do it in such a way that having a gigantic base, possibly run by multiple people, will that like have a negative impact on your game's performance? Who knows? It's very interesting to see what they actually come up with, but we'll leave that to them. Maybe we'll get some sort of response in their Twitter tweets to them about it. Actually, if they made a video back to me, that would be amazing. But anyway, moving on to the next thing, which will be setting up base defenses. So 9 people asked for the ability to be able to like set up your own base defenses. Like, you can put up razor wire walls, you can lay out minefields, you can wall off areas, you can board up windows. All these sorts of things is something that could fall under this category. I actually think it's a really good idea within reason. Like, if they give us the ability to like defend your base more heavily or more efficiently, to keep the game like difficult, they're gonna have to up the amount of zombies that attack your base and the amount of like juggernauts that attack your base all at once, or the frequency of how often your base gets attacked. Let's go with something like for them every, I don't know, 5 pieces of defenses you have, your attack gets doubled. So if you have, say, 20 pieces of defense, like, you get like a 500% more zombies attacking your base than normal, which is fair because you've actually got defenses to actually fight them. To keep the fights interesting, I feel like if you make your base just impossible to breach for zombies, like, it's just, the game's going to get boring pretty quick. Alright, moving on to the next thing. 13 people asked for dynamic weather, which, once again, I don't think it's really that difficult to do. I've seen a lot of games do it well lately, and I think it's not going to be that hard to do. Throw in a thunderstorm every now and then. I don't want it to be like Need for Speed Heat, where it's literally rains like every 10 minutes. No, we don't want that. We just want, I don't know, every 2nd, 3rd, 4th day, we want different weather, whether it be snowy and cold, whether it be heat wave and all you guys get really hot and get upset, and your cars stop working or something, or a big freeze, or a thunderstorm, or a blizzard, or a snowstorm, or a sandstorm, or something. I think that would be, it would add a lot of, more, what's the word, more visual quality to the game. That make the game look a bit nicer. If it rains every now and then and washes all the blood away, that would be cool. Or, I think that's actually not a bad idea, and I don't think it would be that hard for them to implement. Right. So moving on, 15 people asked for a big city map. So we're talking like, you got to picture a massive city like New York. Maybe not that big, but, there's no massive cities in the game. I mean, fair enough, they're probably going to have to lock all the big skyrise buildings because I don't think the engine is going to be able to cope with that sort of stuff. But even a big Earth city, like, there isn't really one massive city in the game. Or maybe one giant map that's just one big city and nothing else. Like, that would also be cool. Once again, I think that's going to be pretty hard for them to implement, but you never know. Maybe they've worked on it already, or who knows what we find out. Right. We also had 28 people ask for dynamic and or bigger maps. And I think this is probably the biggest one for me. Or the second biggest one. If you've played State of Decay anywhere near as much as most people have, you know that the maps get repetitive. You feel like you've been here before. The house models are like the same house over and over and over again. You know where every single bedroom is. You know where every single door is. You know where every single piece of furniture is. I myself stopped playing the State of Decay through 100-day playthrough at day 100 because I had literally looted every single building on every single map 3 times. Like, I'd done every map in the game, and then started and went around again. I did like 3 laps of the entire game. which is pretty nuts. So if they could add A, bigger maps, that would be harder to do because there's more map to explore, but more importantly, B, the dynamicness of the map. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've ever played Diablo 3, the shard mode that it has, where you sort of go through the shard, it basically, it's got like set map pieces, and it just sort of shuffles them around like a Scrabble board. It sort of mixes them all up, but puts them all back together. I mean, it's still they still connect to each other, and there's still a start and an ending. But every time you go through, it's different. You never get to see the same map twice. You never see the same enemies in the same spot twice. It never happens. It's impossible. It's always shuffled. It's always different. And I think that's what State of Decay is really missing, like some sort of random map mode that just never ends. Every time you go in there, the map will be different. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know even if it's possible that they could do it. But every time you go in, the map's going to be shuffled in some different way, shape, or form. And it's going to be different. I feel like this would increase the lifespan of the game for most people by tenfold, because you won't feel like you're repeating the same thing over and over again. You got a new map to explore every single time. And that's really what we all want, for like to increase the lifespan of the game. And now down to the very last thing. The thing that 68 people asked for in the comments, which is probably the most popular, if not the second most popular. And that is base building customization improvements. So in the game at the moment, you can build your own base, you can build whatever you want in certain places, but it's very, very restricted. Like, you've only got certain points on the map where you can build a base. You can only build bases in these places and nowhere else. And in those places, you've got certain plots that are certain sizes that you can build certain things. And that's it. Like, that's about as customizable as it gets. Like, you can shuffle everything around. You can have a farm there and a gun press there, or you can have a gun press there and a farm there. But it's very limited to how custom you can actually make a base. But we want, like, maximum customization. If you've ever played Fallout 4, where you can build bases in that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Arma 3 is the same. You can put a wall anywhere you like. You can put a bed anywhere you can like. You can put a stairway anywhere you like on the entire map, within reason. It won't let you do it with too close to like traders or anything like that, but you will basically let you build any shape base, any size, anywhere. And I think that's what people want. Like, they want the infirmary to be, say, I don't know, a 3x3 object in the game that they can put over there, over there, over there, on the roof, upside down, wherever they want. And, you know, this is probably the biggest thing missing in the game. If they could add this in, it would be like next level State of Decay for sure. If you could build any base you wanted, any size, anywhere, it would definitely take State of Decay to the next level. Once again, I don't think they should make it where your base is absolutely 100% cannot be infiltrated at all by zombies, because I feel like that would make life way too easy. But once again, say for every 10 pieces of building that you build, they double how many zombies come at you. Something like that. Which means that you could build a monster base if you wanted to, but the amount of zombies that would attack your base would be insane. And then you would have to go back to the like sharing a base between people and having 5 or 6 players living in there that could defend it. But anyway, that is definitely the number one thing. Is it actually the number one thing? It is. The number one thing out of all the comments that everybody asked for was customizable bases, like how they are in Fallout 4 and Arma 3. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the first episode of this video series. Stay tuned. I will be recording the next episode and adding it on straight after this one. So I'm going to set them all up in a playlist, so they'll just go boom, 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 boom. This has been episode 1. If you want to see episode 2, just click up there, or it should autoplay. But once again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and follow. Also, quick mention that we've actually moved the live streaming side of my channel to Twitch, so if you haven't gone and followed me on Twitch already, please, please, please do. It would be a massive favor to me, and of course, you get to see more live streams. The link will be in the video description down below. But once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So, see you then. Peace. See ya. Bye.